Mitakayo Yasin, all my relations, and keeping my commitment to you to tell you how to end bigotry. It seems to me what I've been doing and what I should continue to do is tell you about all the things that we've been trying that will not end bigotry, and that we should tell you why we should stop doing it. Because ending bigotry really is a really simple one-step process, and it's listen, which means you acknowledge that the other person has a story and a perspective that is worthy of listening to. That the other person can actually teach you something about yourself, about life. That every person's story is valid, even Donald Trump's. But if you just say, no, that other person's story, that other person is not valid, we're going to get nowhere. In fact, we're going to keep going backwards, because I've been talking about this since before I became involved with social media. You keep using anger and violence as a legitimate response to any situation. The anger and the violence are going to expand. They are going to multiply. And that's exactly what has been happening. And it will continue to happen. My goodness, Joe Biden has been talking about the violence is un-American and that it has to end. There are numerous ads, or there's one ad that's been shown numerously about stopping the violence. But is anyone listening to him? Are the people perpetuating the violence listening? No. So here's what's not working. There is a laundry list of things that keeps expanding, keeps lengthening over what is, quote, racism. What is the fault of, quote, racism, of bigotry? Now I have to tell you, and I don't really feel that I should have to tell you, it should be obvious, but there are some people who don't know me. I treat everyone as equal, as worthy of dignity and respect. And all these things that aren't working are mostly not working for the black community or communities. So blacks are being harmed by these ridiculous assertions. Americans are being harmed, but the whole idea of the radical left and of, I'll call it the Black Lives Matter movement, it actually involves a lot more people and ideas than Black Lives Matter, but they have been very successful in repurposing and rebranding the movement. So I'm just going to say Black Lives Matter. So the BLM movement is harming the very people that they say that they're trying to help. It has been disastrous for blacks. And these, like everyone else, are my brothers and my sisters. And I love them dearly. So what's not working? This ever-lengthening list. Obesity is being blamed on bigotry. And obesity among blacks, nobody else, no other ethnic or cultural group, no other skin color, and particularly black women. So black men and white folks and Asian folks who are obese, for some reason, that is not bigotry. So that extends to doctoring, right? That it goes into the medical profession. If doctors are allowing blacks to be obese and are allowing them to contract COVID-19, allowing them to contract diabetes, then that's being blamed on bigotry. My son, in his anatomy class of all places, the class fielded a question, why are so many blacks getting COVID-19? And the answer that was being looked for is, quote, racism. So if you don't teach what you're supposed to teach, what the BLM movement wants you to teach, then you're a bad person. Same thing with doctoring. And so many people got upset with the alleged comments that Donald Trump made about American veterans. Now, whether or not he made these comments, we will never know. There's no recording of it. There is no evidence, no proof. He may have said it, and if he did, horrible. Trump, man, he's got a bad mouth and an unfiltered mind, and his mind goes to bad places. Boy, do I admit that. But the same military has been denigrated by the left, the BLM movement, the radical left, for a long time, especially this year, being called quote, racist tools and fools, naive, idiots, pawns. If the narrative eventually changes so that that becomes the accepted narrative, and the same people that are angry at Donald Trump right now for what he said, and then the BLM controls the narrative and says you can't say anything nice about the military, then what? Then what would those people who are angry at Trump, then what would they say? And of course the police are just nasty. Except, you know, when they're needed to protect somebody from the radical left. You can attack them, physically assault them, write them letters, tell them you're going to kill them, you're going to have rain down violence against their family. People have dedicated their lives to the public good. The coin shortage, I understand, is also being blamed on bigotry. Poor service at a 7-Eleven. Just a laundry list. So my question to you is, if you keep blaming others for things that are going on in your life, how are you going to get better? How are you going to get anybody better? There are numerous videos of people from the right who show up for rallies or marches in various cities, and if the BLM folks are there, even though the right's not going to say or do anything contentious, in the BLM mind, the contention is simply being there. And the numerous videos of violence, of being attacked. Now, you're not going to see this on, say, CNN, MSNBC, but you go to YouTube, you can see it. It's happening. The violence keeps multiplying, and the violence is not going to get rid of anything. So you get rid of Donald Trump, okay? Bigotry still exists. You get rid of that person, that institution, and you change an institution, right? Bigotry still exists. You're going to virtue signal, and you're going to put the Black Lives Matter sign out on the lawn. And even though you mean it, because you're down with all lives, which includes Black lives, that you're down with what they feel and what they express and what they want and what they are demanding. You are part of it. You're absolutely simpatico. But, you know, you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, something that could be misinterpreted, or, I don't know, when the riots start again and they see your sign, you actually think that these reactionary people, these angry people, are going to see that halo around you and say, oh, no, he's okay. When you already have numerous blacks, whites, Asians, very much on the Democrat side, who have been attacked by leftists and BLM militants simply for being within their field of vision. We need to listen. We need to ask people why they do what they do. We have to understand motivations, and we have to be willing to embrace all and to help all grow and develop this beautifully ideal society that we all crave. It takes effort. It takes more effort than just shouting and yelling and attacking. It takes the effort of trying to understand. So that's it, guys. Peace. 4 fingers. I'll come at you again. In the meantime, be good to yourselves.